The Supreme Court has refused to allow the Trump administration.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. So I would fully expect, and we are preparing for, an influx of more agents.
Firma, amigo, el pueblo está contigo. Firma, amigo, el pueblo está contigo.
The Supreme Court has refused to allow the Trump administration to deploy National Guard troops in the Chicago area. The court declined the administration's push to lift a ruling blocking the deployment. 3 conservative justices dissented. A 4th said he would have issued a narrower decision. The outcome is a rare Supreme Court setback for President Donald Trump. Wow. He has won repeated victories in emergency appeals since he took office again in January. The Trump administration has argued that troops are needed to protect federal personnel and property from what they call a violent resistance against the enforcement of immigration laws. A lower court judge, however, found that protests in the area had not substantially gotten in the way of Trump's immigration crackdown. The Supreme Court's order is not a final ruling, but it could affect other lawsuits challenging attempts to deploy the military in other U.S. cities.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. So I would fully expect, and we are preparing for, an influx of more agents, more of the very visible public theatrics of the raids, of the harassments, and you got faith leaders here. I would not put it past this administration to target midnight mass services amongst folks going to worship, because that's who they are.
Firma, amigo, el pueblo está contigo. Firma, amigo, el pueblo está contigo.
The district judge gave the government until the 26th of December, that is to say Friday, to actually answer the question. What is your plan for Mr. Abrego Garcia? Are you planning to rearrest him? If so, why? We'll then have the opportunity to respond to that, and then based on that, the judge will decide whether to convert her temporary order prohibiting his rearrest into a permanent order or whether to dissolve it. So as of right now, Mr. Abrego Garcia is going to return to his home with his wife and his children and his family members in Maryland. And he will be at home through Christmas and New Year. They can't keep going with this notion that, well, we might do this, we might do this, we might do this, and you should let us do it whatever we want, whenever we want. They have to actually come up with a very specific plan and then justify that plan. And that's what they've been ordered to do on Friday, is to specify exactly what they want to do and why it is they think they're allowed to do it. We'll have the opportunity to respond, and then the judge will enter her ruling sometime after the new year. All right.